I am overcome with a desperate need to release my pent-up frustrations and unleash an anguished cry into the void of my current situation. The weight of my heartache is too heavy to bear, and I have no one to confide in my personal life. The woman who vowed to love and cherish me through all eternity has betrayed me. For 2 agonizing months, she has been unfaithful behind my back. My mind is a tangled mess, trying to comprehend the incomprehensible. We had everything we could have ever wanted: a beautiful home, successful careers, and financial stability. We were the picture-perfect family, with no signs of substance abuse or issues in our marriage. Our daughter was our shining star, full of life and health. As I sit here, 3 months away from our 6-year wedding anniversary, and reflecting on our 11 years together, I can't help but wonder where it all went wrong. I've spent the last 2 days obsessively analyzing every aspect of our relationship, searching for a tiny crack that may have led to this breaking point. When did she become unhappy? When did our life that we built together lose its shine for her? How could she betray us by seeking solace in some random man she met on Facebook? How could she throw away everything we've built as a family? These questions swirl endlessly in my head as I struggle to understand the unfathomable betrayal of my spouse. It was a mundane Monday, just like any other. I was going about my usual routine when chance led me to discover the truth. My daughter's tablet had died, so I grabbed my wife's iPad for her to watch her nighttime videos and drift off to sleep. But as she used the device, I couldn't help but hear constant message notifications dinging away. Curiosity piqued. I took the iPad to check the settings and saw a name I didn't recognize with a cheeky, winky face next to it. My heart sank as I realized what this could mean. With my wife currently on a trip and not due back for another 4 days, I couldn't ignore the signs any longer. I delved into everything on that iPad: texts, emails, social media accounts, and the truth hit me like a ton of bricks. They had met up, spent nights together, gone on romantic dates. They even had a cruise planned for next month. A cruise that my wife had claimed was a bachelorette trip with one of her friends. And all these outings that I had encouraged her to go on in an effort to be more social and combat her feelings of reclusiveness brought on by motherhood, they were all lies. She had fabricated these friends in order to continue her deceitful relationship with this man. A heavy weight presses down on me, suffocating and all-consuming. I feel like a complete and total idiot for blindly trusting her every word. The lies she fed me now haunt my thoughts, leaving me with a sense of betrayal and confusion. We have gone to couples therapy for a year, trying to mend our relationship. We communicated, went on dates, exchanged gifts, and our sex life was amazing. Never in a million years did I suspect that behind it all, she had been seeing someone else. How do I even begin to confront her about this? My heart is shattered into millions of pieces, and I know that no amount of therapy can fix the damage done. Can I forgive and forget, or do I let her go and be with this other man who clearly brings her more happiness than I ever could? Our lives are so deeply intertwined that the thought of separating feels impossible. Yet here I am, with only 4 days left to decide the fate of our relationship. My mind is racing with endless questions and doubts, and I am at a loss for what to do next. Update number 1. Nearly a month has passed since I last shared my frustrations on this platform, pouring out the turmoil of discovering my wife's infidelity. The response from fellow users was overwhelming, with countless comments and messages filled with advice and empathy. To all who took the time to reach out or offer words of comfort, I am deeply grateful. I know too well the pain in betrayal that many of you could relate to in my situation. And so here I am again with an update of sorts, but mostly still needing an outlet for my emotions. My whole world feels upside down, yet it is cathartic to release it all somewhere, even if it may come across as rambling or lengthy. After mustering up the courage to take action, I followed the advice of those around me and gathered all the evidence. My heart raced as I contacted lawyers in my area, searching for the best one to represent me. With their guidance, I began the process of filling out divorce papers before my wife returned home. As a precaution, I also got tested for any sexually transmitted infections, hoping that she hadn't put me at risk during her infidelity. In the midst of this chaos, I confided in my parents and best friend, seeking their support during this difficult time. I knew it would be hard to face my wife with this discovery. So I took my daughter to stay with my parents, giving me some much-needed alone time to mentally prepare myself. The emotions were overwhelming as I alternated between rage cleaning and breaking down in tears during those last 2 days before her return. I attempted to pack some of her belongings, but ultimately couldn't bring myself to follow through. In a fit of desperation and sadness, I laid out all the screenshots and divorce papers on our dining room table as planned, longing for closure and answers. But fate had other plans, and I never got the chance to confront her at that moment. Her arrival home was delayed, and I eagerly awaited her return on Sunday afternoon. But it wasn't until 6:30 in the morning that she stumbled through the door, hoping to surprise me. I had spent the hours in between drinking coffee and crying, my emotions raw and unsteady. As she entered the house, I couldn't bring myself to greet her. Instead, I retrieved the folders of evidence and divorce papers and without a word handed them over to her. The air was thick with tension and unsaid words as we stood facing each other. I don't remember what either of us said that day. All I know is that I told her I knew about her betrayal, I wanted a divorce, and that the house would remain solely in my name. Her tears flowed freely, but there was also anger in her voice as she yelled at me. Despite my own inner turmoil, I remained stoic and strong, determined not to show any emotion or engage in an argument with her. Some might call it a grey wall, a defense mechanism to protect myself from further pain. It was one of the hardest things I had ever done, ending a marriage filled with love and betrayal. Even though she had betrayed me, it pained me deeply to see her cry. With only a few personal belongings hastily gathered, she left that day and sought refuge with her parents. Meanwhile, my own family and closest friend came to stay with me and my daughter as we navigated the aftermath of her sudden departure. I immediately contacted my lawyer to arrange a meeting to discuss custody, division of belongings, finances, and all other aspects of our separation on the following Tuesday. However, just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I received a call from my clinic on Monday requesting an urgent review of my sexually transmitted infection test results. It was then revealed that her parting gift to me was herpes simplex virus 2. The anger, sadness, and unrelenting feeling of being shattered is indescribable. I am still struggling to accept this reality. It feels like an endless battle. While I know that this condition is common and will not kill me, it doesn't make coping with it any easier. In an attempt to find support and understanding, I joined a support group on Facebook filled with individuals who have also been affected by the herpes simplex virus. Despite the circumstances that brought us together, these people have become a source of comfort and strength for me during this difficult time. The weight of Tuesday hung heavy on my shoulders, the knowledge of my impending divorce filling me with shame. Bringing up the topic in front of our lawyers and my soon-to-be ex-wife only amplified those feelings of humiliation. I knew trying to discuss it privately would only end in disaster, with the bubbling mix of anger and sadness coursing through my veins. But she never apologized, instead transforming into a different person altogether. Her eyes were cold and emotionless, like looking at a stranger. The proceedings for our divorce were surprisingly smooth, with everything cut and dry as we separated our finances and divided assets. The only obstacle being her desire to terminate her parental rights over our 1-year-old daughter. It was like a punch to the gut, realizing that he wanted nothing to do with our child anymore. Our daughter, who had lovingly called her Mama as her first word. She was only 1 year old, yet my wife wanted to erase her from her life. It has been 3 weeks since that revelation, but the pain has not lessened for me or for my family. The agony for my daughter's future is indescribable. I don't recognize the woman who stands before me now. Her features are familiar, but her demeanor is foreign. It's like she's a completely different person, and I can't pinpoint when or how this change occurred, but it terrifies me to my core. It feels like my entire life has been turned upside down, pulled out from under me without warning. I've followed the advice of my lawyers and have not spoken to her since that fateful day. The thought of what I might say fills me with fear and uncertainty. She hasn't seen our daughter either, despite her telling me that day that she didn't want to. It's as if she wants to erase all traces of our life together. No pictures from our home, no memories to hold on to, just her clothes and electronics. I'm at a complete loss for understanding any of this. Will I ever be able to make sense of it? We have a court date looming ahead for her petition to terminate parental rights, and the thought of facing her in court makes my stomach turn. How did we get here? How did our once happy family become torn apart? Every day is a struggle to keep a positive outlook and stay strong for my family and my child, but the weight of this situation is crushing. I hope in a year's time I'll be able to look back and say I survived that, but right now it feels impossible even to imagine getting through the next week. Please don't mistake my words for suicidal thoughts. I am just emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausted beyond measure. This experience has left me utterly demolished, a mere shadow of who I used to be. Update number 2. Greetings to all those who have reached out to me and the multitude of comments I have received in response to my previous rants on this account. It's been approximately 8 months since I last shared my upside-down situation here. During that time, numerous people have reached out to me, wanting to know how I've been and what has unfolded. To all of you strangers who have sent kind messages, please know that your words mean the world to me. I apologize for not responding or acknowledging them sooner, as my life has been a chaotic whirlwind these past few months. It's hard to fathom that it has already been so long since that initial post. Time truly flies by in the blink of an eye. The sadness loomed over me as I reflected on the past few months. My divorce was finalized without any hiccups or holdups, but the process had taken an emotional toll on me. As we worked to sell our old house, my ex and I moved to a new state. Amidst this chaos, she continued to petition for termination of parental rights, causing further strain between us. Since the move, I've only seen her 3 times, each time for court proceedings. In the midst of it all, I was granted temporary full custody at her request, and she was not given any visitation rights. It's been 7 long months since she's seen our daughter, and she has specifically asked not to see her. I don't know what she's been up to, or if she's still with her boyfriend. Since our divorce, we have kept minimal contact for the sake of my mental health. Despite my efforts to maintain a relationship between my daughter and her mother, my ex has consistently refused any offers of communication or visitation. Even her own parents have been cut off from seeing their granddaughter through video calls. Though I am unsure of what caused this change in behavior, I have learned to accept it and wish my ex well in all future endeavors. Amidst all the challenges and struggles, there have been moments of pure joy and happiness. Firstly, I am now a proud resident of Arizona, a place I never thought I would call home. But the warmth of the people and the vibrant energy of this state have won me over. Even my parents were so enamored that they packed up and moved with us. Seeing them so happy in their new surroundings warms my heart, and speaking of warm hearts, my daughter is thriving here. She will be turning 2 in July, and she already knows her alphabets, can count to 20 without any help, and has an insatiable love for animals and bugs. Her infectious laughter at fart noises or a cow's moo brings so much joy into our home. Unknowingly, she has been my biggest source of motivation to heal from all that has happened and become the best version of myself. I am constantly amazed by her ever-growing personality and cannot wait to see the incredible person she will become. I could talk endlessly about her, but I'll end it here before this turns into a novel as long as Harry Potter's. As for myself, I have been actively attending therapy sessions for the past 8 months and have noticed a significant improvement in my mental state. I am also working towards regaining control of my physical health, as the stress of the past months has caused me to gain around 30 pounds. However, I am not putting too much pressure on myself and trust that I will get there eventually. As for dating, it is not something I have even considered at this point. Instead, I have focused on adjusting to being a single parent, which I must say has been made easier by the unwavering support of my family and friends. Of course, there are still tough moments ahead, but I have learned to roll with the punches and have hope that things will ultimately work out for the best. This experience may have felt like the end of the world at times, but thanks to my therapist's guidance, I have found comfort in knowing that tomorrow brings a new day with its own set of possibilities. The sun will rise once again, birds will sing their melodies, and everything will be okay. Those 2 sentences from my therapist have been a tremendous source of strength for me. As I reflect on this lengthy passage, I am struck with the realization that I should start journaling more often. Perhaps even create a blog to document my thoughts and experiences. Above all, I am grateful to those who have taken the time to offer me advice during the most difficult period of my life. And if you are still listening to this, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support means everything to me. As we close the pages on this deeply personal and raw account of betrayal and resilience, I want to thank you all for joining me on this journey. This story has taken us through the darkest valleys of despair and to the hopeful peaks of recovery, reminding us of the incredible strength that lies within the human spirit when faced with unimaginable pain. As we part ways with this story, let's carry with us the lessons learned about the power of forgiveness and the potential for new beginnings, even from the ashes of profound loss. Remember, life's challenges are not merely obstacles, but opportunities to grow, to learn, and to emerge stronger. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join me, and we navigated through this emotional and complex journey. If you found this story as moving and insightful as I did, please consider giving this video a like. It really helps support the channel. Don't forget to share it with anyone who you think might benefit from hearing about resilience and recovery from such deep personal challenges.